Hi, and welcome back to the Positive Prepper. How are you guys doing tonight? So I wanted to do this video because I know that there's a lot of people out there that are thinking, I'm screwed. If an SHTF happened, there's no way that I'm going to survive this. And, I just don't have the money or the resources to survive anything that comes. So that's why I wanted to put this video out. With all of the stuff going around the country and around the world, and if you're in a very high crime city, it can all seem very daunting, trying to find ways to survive even more on top of what you're already dealing with. So there's some things that I want you to know. First of all, I want you to stop right where you are. And I want you to realize that everything is survivable. And no matter your situation, and I believe that I've said this in a few other videos, there are things that you can do. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to talk about 7 different things. And I'm going to try to do this in a way that you don't have to worry so much about the monetary resources to make this stuff happen. Okay, that's what I want to cover. No one is ever fully prepared for every SHTF. As you all know, I've been a prepper for many, 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 many years. And I still am not prepared for every single SHTF that might come. Okay? Many are not prepared for any SHTF. Okay? They just plan on either caving and conforming or giving in rather than trying to do anything to survive whatever challenge it is that they're facing. And then some people are prepped for some SHTF events, but nobody is prepared for every single one that comes. So whether it's nuclear, civil, economic, natural SHTF, whatever direction it comes from. So these are 7 things that you can work on to build your preps in a way that doesn't take a lot of time and especially money, because I know that that's a really hard thing right now. Okay? So we always say, when it comes to food, which is number 1, stack it to the rafters and stack it again. But I understand that some of you can't do this, whether it's lack of space or lack of money. But hopefully you'll be able to get some extra food to get by for whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. Make sure that you're getting your meat or your protein, meat and or your protein, things like peanut butter, fruit, and fillers in like your starches, your pasta, potato flakes, rice, beans, things like that. So here's some instant mashed potato flakes. Okay, it's in a thin package. Okay, doesn't take up a lot of space. You can fit a lot of these under your bed. This is a 1-pound bag. Okay, this has 19 servings of about a 1/3 cup dry, which is probably going to make it, was that maybe 3/4 cup full? That's a lot of potatoes for a meal. And this has got 19 servings in it. Okay, easy to stack. Doesn't take up a lot of space, but is something that you can stock up on that will last a very long time. This brand also happens to be gluten-free. Okay, so for those of you that can't have any gluten, that's the way to go. But the point is, do things like that and fill every possible space that you can If you're in an apartment, it can be really hard. Like, I know people that live in apartments that have inspections. And so when the people come in to inspect, they're looking at not so much, what do you call it? Not chaos, but they don't want the apartment filled to the brim with all of this miscellaneous stuff because it's a fire hazard. So you have to find very clever ways to conceal this stuff. Get plastic totes, boxes, shove these under your bed, under your dressers, on top of things, whatever you have to do. You need to try to get as much food stacked as you can, and a variety of food. Make sure that it's food that you like. You're not going to want to eat mushrooms, as I said before. Ick for me. So get foods that you like. Get the fruits that you like. Get the starches that you like. If you prefer rice to potatoes, stock up on rice. You can get 50-pound bags of rice relatively cheap if you have the space to put it. Okay, if you don't have the space, you might have to take that 50-pound sack of rice and break it down into smaller packages in order to store it. But do what you need to do. The second thing is water. Again, this is extremely important. You need to have your bottled water or some type of filtration system. You can either have the super expensive filtration system, which costs a lot of money, or you can go to Walmart and get a $20 water bottle with the life straws in it and the extra filters. Okay? You're also going to need the gray water to fill up like the back of your toilet tank to flush your toilet, which you can do without electricity, or for doing your dishes or doing your laundry. Okay? Or for your toilet. If you can't flush your toilet for some reason, having that kitty litter, garbage bags, like I talked about before. So when I talk about this next one, home defense, I want to show you two things that are extremely cheap. And these are especially things that you can use if you're in an apartment or in a townhouse or in a city living arrangement. We're out in the country and we have these installed just because it's an extra layer. But I want to show you these two things that will not cost you an arm and a leg. Very cheap to install, but can give you that added layer. So give me 1 second. So the first thing that I want to show you are these hooks that we have here on the door. Okay. These we got from Menards. So we have one on that side and we have one on this side. Okay. Preferably you're going to have a 2x6, not a 2x4. It's going to go right underneath that door handle. You're going to slide that in. You're going to have that extra layer to keep that door from being kicked in if your door is open in, obviously. Now on this particular door, this doesn't work very well because underneath this is glass. So they could easily break through that glass, lift that up, and come through. But by the time they did that, we're going to know about it because we have this alarm system up here. Okay? When this barrier is broken, I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to take this out, which is not easy to do, by the way. And I'm going to open the door. That's what you're going to hear when that door gets breached. So that's what you're going to hear when that door gets breached. We're going to know somebody's coming through that door. And you can buy those little alarm systems. Again, we got ours at Menards. They're, I don't know, $4 or $5. They're super, super cheap. So those are some things that you can install that don't require a lot of money, but can be either a deterrent or, just kind of a way to keep people from it. It makes them have to go through a little bit more effort, if you will, to get to you. If you can afford it, get a good security camera system. And then, of course, your boomsticks and freedom seeds. But watch things, and I know some of y'all are going to giggle at this, but watch your Rambo movies. Watch the old MacGyver episodes. Obviously, not a lot of us can make anything out of a shoestring and a wine bottle. But he seemed to be able to make all kinds of really cool gadgets from things laying around the house. And we might laugh at that, but there are things that you can do to use as home defense that you already have. So just kind of look at some different videos, watch some different movies, get some ideas, come up with your own solutions. You know your points of entry, you know your weak points. Figure out ways that don't cost a lot of money to secure those. Setting up things like booby traps even, that might deter a lot of people from coming in. So number 4, stock up on your Bible and books. You will need a way to keep yourself grounded and at peace when the world is in chaos. Okay, you will need that. You cannot live in a constant state of heightened anxiety. It will kill you. So you need a way to bring this down, to breathe, to quiet your mind, quiet your soul. Okay? So read lengthy books. If you can go to a used bookstore and get a copy of War and Peace or the entire Shakespeare collection, things like that. These really lengthy novels, books of poetry is very calming, if you will, very soul calming. Okay, get books, and if you can't get the books, but you have a printer, print books offline about how to do first aid or survival or cooking on, how to make a smorgasbord on 3 ingredients, things like that. Print those things off so you have them in print, so that these are things in an SHTF you can go back to reference. And then read your Bible. Read it front to back. I do that every year. And then go in and read the Bible from an eschatology perspective, which is reading the book of Daniel, the book of Ephesians, the book of Revelations, but it's in a very specific order. Okay? Do that. Because that not only will fill your soul, but it helps keep that hope about how everything ends. So do that. That's going to be very important. Excuse me. If you have music that you really prefer, you're not going to be able to download that music during an SHTF and the power grid is out. So start downloading these. This may sound crazy, but download them on cassette tapes, because you can get battery-operated cassette tape players. I think you can still get CD players that are battery-operated. So you put them on CDs, but then make sure that you're stocking up on batteries for those players if music is your kind of that soul string, right? I know music for my family's big. We have a lot of musical instruments that we keep in the house. We have a very musical family. And they're things that don't require batteries, like your acoustic guitars, banjo, violin, fife, flute, trumpet, stuff like that. They don't require batteries. We're going to be able to keep that soul string in place. You need to have something like that, whatever it is for you. Okay? Number 5, and this one I want to tell you about specifically for a special reason. But number 5 is first aid. Obviously, if you're on medication, you need to try to stock up on that if you can. Get your refills before you are out of the medication, and then save whatever pills you can. Put them in a medication bottle. Make sure you label it with what it is or what it's for. Okay? Get extra things like bandages, feminine pads. A lot of these things you can get at the dollar store or a Dollar Tree, where I think instead of $1, it's like $1.25. But you can get a lot of this stuff there for uber cheap. Okay? Go to garage sales. Go to your Army surplus stores. Go to thrift stores. Okay? Go where you need to go to get the most for your money when it comes to medical supplies especially. Food as well, extra clothes as well, but especially your medical stuff. Number 6 is pet. Oh, the reason I wanted to talk about first aid, I almost forgot, is because in my next video is going to be a free giveaway video. So I'm going to be putting together a first aid box that I'm going to give away in my next video, or I'll have the drawing for in my next video, okay? So you will have a question to answer. You will answer it in the comments in that video, and then the video after that I will on video draw a name for the winner. Now, I'm not talking a medical kit that you can just go buy at Walmart, okay? What I'm talking about are things that might not be so easily attainable. So you will have your things like gauze pad, tape, ace wraps, bandages, things like that, your wound cleansers, iodine, stuff like that. But I'm going to throw in some extra stuff. So when I do my next video, I will have this box put together. I will show you what's in the box. Answer the question in the comments below that video. And then on the next video, I will draw a name. This is going to be a super exciting one. I know that I was supposed to do a solar giveaway. That has not been an easy task to do for multiple reasons. This medical kit I can do easily. So I'm going to do that for you guys. So watch for my next video. Hopefully Saturday or Sunday is when that video will come out. So number 6, pet supplies. When stocking your food, think of foods that your pets can safely eat. This is especially if you don't have room for like dog food, cat food, whatever the case may be. If you don't have a location to stock up on this food, then the foods that you are prepping need to be safe for your pets to eat. Okay? This is a hard one because a lot of people will say, well, I'm just going to kill my animals. Well, I have no judgment on that. I have 2 guinea pigs that I'm not going to be able to provide food for long term. Okay? But my dogs are part of my security system. So the longer I'm able to provide for my dogs, the stronger my security system is. Cats, I'm on the fence about. I love all my babies, but at what point does it become where you're putting more energy towards them rather than the humans, which in my opinion, the humans have to take precedence. I might get flack for that in the comments. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to be realistic. The reality is you are going to look after your friends and your family and your loved ones before you're going to worry about whether Fifi's going to be okay and when it comes to it. So if you don't have the extra storage space for your cat food, dog food, cat litter, like I said, our guinea pigs, if you don't have storage for that, if you don't have storage space for that, make sure that you are stocking food that they can eat. The last one is electricity, and this one's the hardest because this is probably the most expensive and the hardest to really kind of wrap your head around, okay? Generators and solar panels are not cheap, okay? They're very expensive. But you can do other things, like you can go get a $10 solar rope light to use for light in your house. Get a small propane cook stove. Sealing off your extra rooms. Anything that you can do to decrease the amount of electricity that you would have to use if you had it, or the less resources you would have to use if you didn't have it. Okay? Winter is coming, so stocking up on your wool, like your wool blankets, wool socks, wool shirts. And again, go to your thrift stores, go to garage sales. You can find these things for super, super cheap. Okay? Get some long underwear, or as we call it, redneck lingerie, right? Get some long underwear. Make sure that you're able to layer. And then again, if you can go to a dollar store and get hand warmers, you can put hand warmers in your gloves. You can put them in your boots. You can put them inside your shirts, inside your blankets. You can put them just about anywhere. They last a while. They'll help with the heat. Just a suggestion. For every dollar that you spend on your preps, you are adding a lot of time to your survival. Okay? For every dollar you spend, you are adding to the amount of time that you are going to survive in SHTF. So that's why this is really important. Even if you are really tight in a budget, spending that $5 could add 3 days to your survival. That's how you have to look at it. But if you're sitting back saying that you're already screwed, then you've already given up. Because no matter what situation you are in, you can do some preparedness. You can. It doesn't take money to learn a new skill or become really good at skills that you already have. If you are wheelchair bound, you can still have the knowledge to fend off or ward off would-be intruders or attackers. Okay, you can do these things. The more of us that are prepared, the fewer of us we have to worry about in an SHTF. So it's important that you recognize whatever your situation is, that you can change your situation. Okay? You have value that you might not even know that you have. You may come upon a group that needs somebody exactly like you. So never give up on your prepping. Never give up on your survival. And never give up hope that in the end the good guys win. But the most important thing I want you to hear is you have value. You may think this is all for naught. I'm never going to survive this. I'm screwed. It doesn't matter. Stop thinking that way. You have value. And somewhere, some way, somewhere down the line, you will be needed. So you have to try to do what you can to prepare and survive. Okay? I believe in you, and the people that are going to need you will need you. So don't give up on that. Don't sit back and think, there's just nothing I can do, because there is. And if you're struggling with that, reach out to the prepping community. Email me at positiveprepper@gmail.com. Okay? I don't want you to ever give up. Don't ever think that you are not worth it, because you are. So as always, stay safe, stay aware, and God bless.